Hello everybody, we're going to be working on percent problems. This is where we're either missing the part or we're missing the whole of a problem. When I go over percent problems, I set up ratio tables. I'm super obsessed with ratio tables. And when looking through, I didn't find very many videos that were talking about ratio tables to solve proportion problems. So that's why we're going to do that now, set up this video so that you're able to figure it out using this method. There are plenty other methods out there, but this is the method that we're going to be using today. So my percent problems, I'm always starting with my ratio table, and I like my ratio table to be 4 by 2 to start with. I can always add more if I need to, but I like to start with my 4 by 2. These are my labels, and these are my equivalent ratios. Okay? What makes them equivalent is that I'm going to be moving from one to the other by either multiplying or dividing, and that makes them equivalent. If we're thinking of ratios as fractions, if you multiply the top and bottom by the same number, you're keeping it equivalent as an equivalent fraction. Same thing for the ratios. Now, I'm going to use the example from the textbook where it's talking about if you have 3 cups of pineapple juice, how many total cups of punch can you make? And it tells us a table that shows, if you can look at that for just a second there, it shows the table of the percentages for each one. I'm just going to tell you what those numbers are so that we don't have to stare at this the whole time. All right, so again, if you have 3 cups of pineapple juice, how many total cups of punch can you make? So it tells us in the story what the 2 pieces are, what our 2 labels are. We're talking about pineapple juice and we're talking about punch. And what we can decide now, using these keywords, we can decide, are we talking about punch being the whole thing or punch being just a part of it? So is pineapple juice just a part of what goes into a punch, or is the punch part of what goes into pineapple? Well, hopefully, you know that pineapple juice is just a part. So this is our part, this is our whole. And when they give us word problems like this, it makes it so much easier to figure out how to set up our problems than just having that, 30 out of 5 makes whatever, that kind of problem, because it doesn't give us any words to go with. These stories kind of should lend themselves to setting up our ratio table with part and whole. All right, so it says 3 cups of pineapple juice, and then we don't know how much punch that's going to be. And when I go back to my table, it said that 20% of the punch recipe is pineapple juice. So the pineapple juice is also 20% of the 100% of the recipe, which is punch. So setting up my table, I've got my pineapple juice, sorry for my messy writing, and I've got my punch. And I always love putting in my percent because percent is a very easy ratio per 100. So 20 per cent, per being the slash and cent being the 100. So when I'm setting up 20% as a ratio, percent means per 100. And so that's set up right there for us. 20%. Anytime they give us a percent, we already have 2 boxes filled on our ratio table. We only need 1 more. So the other number that we need is the 3 cups of pineapple juice that they tell us in the story. So I'm going to put that on the other side. This is my 3 cups. Now, I know that I need to get from 20% over to what 3 cups is to make the 20% so that I can find how much total punch I have. To do that, I'm not going to be able to go clean over from 20 to get over to 3. My options are I either find a factor they have in common or I find a multiple they have in common. And personally, a multiple just bounces out at me, saying 60 would be a great multiple. But also if I need to, I can go down to a unit rate of 1 for the middleman. So it's kind of up to you which one you want to go with. I'm going to show you how to do it when you use a multiple for the middleman. So I'm going to use 60. And I go from 20 to get to 60 by timesing by 3. So what I do the top, I do the bottom. And so I'm going to have 300 on the bottom. Then I say, okay, how do I go from 60 to get to 3? And that's going to be divide by 20. When I do the top, I do the bottom, and so I'm going to do 300 divided by 20. That's going to be 0 times, 1 time there, and then 5 times there, and we get 15. So 15 cups of punch is our final answer. So it's going to make 15 cups of punch. Because remember, we answer word problems with word answers. All right, guys, so there's an example for you on how to use our rate per 100 and our ratio tables to solve a percent problem. And that really reflects standard 6.RP.3c, where it says to use percents as rate per 100. All right, thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. See you in school.